Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Vibes with Intuitively D. I am going to be your intuitive astrologer slash tarot reader for this video. It is all about the Mercury and Pisces transit that started February 14th, which was yesterday, Valentine's Day. Okay, communication for the lovers, right? And it's gonna go until March 3rd, where it jumps into Aries, and then it's gonna retrograde back into Pisces. So it's just gonna be a thing. Okay, so we have this transit. If you like my style, if you like, just the vibes, go ahead and give a like, comment, share this video with your peeps. And yeah, let's talk about it. So here we go. Today, we're just going to talk about Mercury and Pisces. It's a transit, of course, that we commonsensically, astrologically think is going to be a little more intuitive with our communication, going into our imagination, talk about poetic expression, love songs, just really communicating those Pisces-like things. So whether you have this placement in your natal chart or you have big prominent Pisces placement where Mercury is going to make some aspect to, you will be feeling this. We will all feel it. And then this video will help you understand not all, but lots about it. So yeah, stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the video. There will be timestamps at the bottom. So if you don't want to hear the intro and just the vibes of Mercury and the vibes of Pisces and you want to get straight to your so I have trusty dandy notes, because if I don't, I will go on a tangent and this video will be much longer than I intended to be. So we all know, or maybe you don't know because you're a beginner. Hi, I love that you're a beginner. Mercury is the planet of communication, intellect, how we process our information, how we research our information. That's what Mercury rules. It is the ruler of Pisces and Virgo, and it's the ruler of the third house of communication, short distance travel, your siblings, and teaching. Pisces, on the other hand, is ruled by Neptune, and its original ruler was Jupiter. So this very expansive, dreamy, foggy, hazy kind of vibe. So when we talk about Pisces, we talk about dream work, we talk about intuition, High Priestess. If you didn't, if you're into tarot, we think about that card. Deeply emotional, sensitive, but we also think about the Hanged Man as well when we talk about Pisces. So sometimes so dreamy, so intuitive that you can't really make a move. Pisces governs our feet. It's symbolic to the earth, which is really symbolic of being grounded, but also being in the world and connected to something higher in the universe. It's also associated with the Crown Chakra, so being the one that you're getting the downloads, your prayers, all of those esoteric spiritual things. With Mercury and Pisces, communication is really less about being logical and the facts and more about your feelings, about your intuition, about your gut, right? It's about being more creative, freely being creative, deep empathy, the ability to perceive beyond the logical mind. So if something is like tinging, you're getting that bing and you can't quite put your finger on it and you're like, that's a little bit of this Mercury in Pisces, which is super sweet because most of the time, we spend most of our time in our brain and really disregarding our logic and not our intuition. Disregarding our intuition. And sometimes that just leads us into like not a great direction. So here we are with this transit where we can bridge the two, merge the two, balance the two, which I think is quite lovely. Sometimes Pisces can bring challenges like vagueness. Hello, brain, come on, let's do it today. Mercury and Pisces, while it can help us really balance listening to our intuition and then communicating from that space, it can bring up some challenges of like vague communications, wishy-washy communications, miscommunication, and a little emotional sensitivity, not in the great way, but more in the like, everything is making you mad or sad or whatever. So just watch out for that. And with that being said, let's go into what this means for each rising sign remember that it's going to be time stamped, and so you can just click that and get to your rising sign. Hi, Aries and Aries Rising, Pisces. Mercury in Pisces is moving through your 12th house of the subconscious, the dreams, your spiritual wisdom, which I think is really great for you. You have Venus in your first house right now, so maybe the dreams are becoming reality. And I just really think that is super sweet. Maybe you're now able to communicate your dreams, your wishes, your heart's desire, maybe some spiritual wisdom out in the world, and people are seeing you as this new being. Your intuition is heightened. Your mind may feel like it's drifting between dimensions. I love that. Pay attention to the dreams. They will probably hold some powerful messages, and yeah, they will probably hold some powerful messages. I would say be very careful if you start overthinking and getting lost in your fantasies, okay? Venus in the first house for you could mean you could be a little delusional because you're having the dream and you think that dream is it with that person that you've never met. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to be delusional. Let's pick a card for you. The moon, so in reverse. So there are some hidden things, and Mercury in the 12th house can bring up some maybe old hurts, old wounds, old stories that you've been telling yourself, and it's just been weighing on you. I would say this is a great time to work with a dream journal. This is a great time to work with a healer. This is a great time to just sit with yourself, practice mindfulness, because the moon is always there, right? Even when we don't see it, the moon is always there. And what the moon in reverse is telling us is that there have been things that are always there and you're just maybe ignoring them. And it's not so healthy to do that, okay? It's not so healthy to do that. All right, Aries, I hope this has been helpful for you. All right, here we go, Taurus and Taurus Rising. Hi, how are you doing with that full moon in Leo that you just had with the square to Uranus in your first house? What is going on? I hope you have been taking it easy, relaxing, doing all of those things. So this Mercury and Pisces transit is happening in the 11th house for you, which is your hopes, wishes, and dreams house. A really great one to actually transit. This is going to really talk about how you're communicating to your friends, to your social networks, about your hopes, wishes, and dreams. These could bring on collaborations because you're coming from a more creative space, a more intuitive space. So this could be really opening up doors for you. I really actually like it. Your words can be deeply inspiring to other people, and really inspiring to yourself. You may suddenly find yourself drawn to more spiritual communities and aligning yourself with those folks, which I think is lovely. Maybe yoga, mindfulness, meditation people. I would say the only thing that I'm concerned about is being mindful of miscommunication in your group setting, and double check all your facts when you're in collaboration, right? Because Mercury and Pisces can be quite murky when we get that. And maybe people are sensitive because you're not hanging out with them and you're like, no, I really want to lean this way. So it could be a lot of that going on right now. The card that flipped over was the 7 of Wands in reverse. Maybe you've been patiently waiting, really building your community, patiently waiting for the people to arrive, and you just are feeling like they're not there, that you might have a few, but it's not the people, it's not how many you thought there would be at this point in time in your life. I would say, Taurus, you know how to work hard, you know how to work diligently, but what I think Taurus and most fixed signs have an issue with is being a little more intuitive, a little more flowy, and a little more communicative with maybe how those people are making you feel or what you need and desire in those friendships, partnerships, relationships, social networking, community gatherings. And so if this has something about the things that you've been trying to build and it's just taking too long, maybe just sit back, be open to having conversations with the people that you might be collaborating with friends that might give you a little bit more advice, and see how that goes for you. All right, Taurus and Taurus Rising, I hope this has been helpful for you. See you, I don't know, at the new moon in Pisces. All right, Gemini and Gemini Rising. I have a friend who's a Gemini Rising, and every time she watches my video, she's like, why did you have to drag me so hard? And I was like, girl, it's not dragging if it's the truth. Just kidding. I didn't say that. I said, it's out of love. I love you, so I want the best for you. And sometimes hard truths. Hard truths. She's also a Capricorn sun, so she can handle it, honestly, so she's fine. All right, Gemini and Gemini Rising. This Mercury in Pisces transit is happening in your 10th house, that house of career. I don't know why I did that, but it's your legacy, it's your public image, because it's a good house. So your communication style at work, okay, you know, Gemini and Pisces square each other, okay? So it's not necessarily the easiest transit for you, because it's going to ask you to be a little, like, your rulership and it's fallen, and it's in a fallen sign is just not the best, right? Because you are used to being analytical, you're used to like being logical, getting things done in a certain type of way, like that, right? Pisces is like, hey, let's flow. So there's this obstacle that's going to come up in your work life, your career specifically, and your public image. Maybe you've been over trying to do it to become a leader, over trying to analyze, think about how you need to like make the moves. And Mercury and Pisces is going to come in and be like, well, maybe you just need to flow a little bit. Maybe you just need to be a little more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's not soft, because I don't want to say that. It's about really being a little more intuitive, being a little more compassionate, a little more empathetic for yourself. And not necessarily, I'm not saying this to do it for the people around you, but for yourself. Being like, oh, okay, I've been working really hard over and over, and it's just not working. So let me just take a minute and look and see how I can maybe revamp, how I can flow a little bit better. Let me listen to my intuition, because maybe this is not even what I really want, and maybe I want to flow this way. It is a great time for creative projects. So if that is your business, or if you've been thinking about like jumping into your side hustle, making that a little more profitable, this would be a good time. So artistic pursuits in your professional life will go really well. Be clear, to not miscommunicate, to not be overly Gemini when you're dealing with people in that career public life. Try to be a little more intuitive, a little more sensitive to other people's needs, wants, and desires. And also try to be a little more sensitive to your needs, wants, and desires. Because just because you have one plan and one way of thinking about something doesn't mean that it can't change. So be okay with pivoting, okay? I know that took a long time for me to say that. And I love, yeah, you are like, I'm just going to keep doing. This is the 8 of Cups in reverse. I'm just going to keep doing, and it's a water sign, it's an 8. I'm just going to keep doing it. I don't like it, I hate it, but I'm going to keep doing it because that's all I've ever known, and that's what it's supposed to be, my life, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hello, you can walk away. When it doesn't feel good, Cups energy, when it's not emotionally supportive, when that's not how you want to appear in the public image anymore, you can walk away and do whatever the heck you like to do. And I really want that for you, Gemini. See, I know. I really want that for you. So be okay with letting things go, walking away from things that are not working out, especially in your career, especially in your public image. And be open to the new opportunities, the new ways of living life, the new ways of moving in your career and public image, especially when it is in an artistic, creative pursuit. I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments. All right, Cancer and Cancer Rising. This kind of vibes with you, right? Because another water sign, water sign, different, but similar. So Cancer Risings, this Mercury and Pisces transit is happening in your 9th house. Learning, travel, philosophy. Mercury and Pisces in the 9th house for you might be really lovely when it comes to learning about a new spiritual practice, a new philosophical ideology, learning about new religions, cultures, things of that nature. I think that would be really good. Traveling for that as well might be really on your mind, and go after it if you can. So yeah, this time around during this transit, your mind is really going to be into mysticism, the occult, abstract thinking, just kind of like hodgepodge all over the place. And I really love that for you. You might find yourself thinking about the deeper meaning of life, wanting to get into herbalism, getting in like, you know, witchy-based practices. So herbalism, yoga, mindfulness. You might be thinking about all those kind of things. I know the light is coming in, and we're just going to keep it because I like it. So I love this for you. I would say trust your intuition more, but because you could be too much into your intuition because you're already Cancer, so you're deeply intuitive, right? You could be just floating and not being as logical. So just be mindful that you balance your intuition with logical discernment. So, you know, if you want to take that class in, I don't know, Scandinavia, and you don't have the budget for it, don't put it all on a credit card and you can't afford it, okay? See if you can start small wherever you live. Alrighty, let's pull a card for you, Cancer. These reversals are just so interesting with Mercury and Pisces. And I think because Mercury and Pisces doesn't do very well, we're going to get miscommunication and like, oh, and this is your card. It's the Chariot in reverse. And so maybe you have been thinking about like, oh, I want to go on this trip. I want to learn something new. I'm starting to lean into this new practice, and you really are just kind of like not knowing how to do it, not knowing which way to go. I would say this is telling you that you are slightly confused. You are feeling a little stagnant. Start small. Major Arcana, right? It is the 12th card in the, it is the 7th card in the deck. So maybe there's something about a relationship or something about something that happens in July that's causing you to be a little stagnant. So if you're in a relationship, I don't know why but now I'm feeling it. If you're in a relationship and it's really holding you back from exploring these topics that you've been really wanting to explore, maybe it's time to really not think about like not exploring those topics, but really thinking about the relationship and how it might be holding you back from moving forward. Because whatever path you take is going to be a good path. But if you're in the reverse and you can't move forward, like, how will we even know? So I think it's time to kind of figure out why you might be stagnant, why you might not be able to move fully forward. And when you realize that, move forward in those things, Cancer Rising. I hope that has been helpful for you. I'm going to close these blinds because I don't know if this is going to be easy for y'all to see. So I'll be right back. Hi, Leo and Leo Rising, back with your Mercury and Pisces transit, going through the 8th house. Not, you know, the 8th house is the house of transformation, intimacy and shared resources, inheritances, your taxes. And it's not always an easy house to have transits going through. But Leo Rising, you just got finished with a really like a wonky ass Aquarius new moon, a really challenging Leo full moon that made aspects to Uranus and Taurus. So at this point, you're like, look, we are wiping the slate clean. Bring on the new downloads. Bring on the new information because something's got to give. All right, Leo Risings. And as a fellow Leo Rising, I'm in there with you. So conversation. So Mercury and Pisces can really bring some conversations in your deep, intimate relationships. They're very emotional. They might bring up some old hurts, some old vibes, and you get to the root of it in partnership that helps you heal and move forward. I really hope that for you. If it brings up old things in these conversations and you realize these partnerships are not the vibe, then they're not the vibe. There will always be someone that will love you wholeheartedly in your full authenticity. Okay. So I think this is a time for you to communicate that knowledge with yourself. So if this is communication with a partner, fantastic. Business partner, fantastic. You're like, hey, this is the way our business is going. I don't know if this is the vibe or this is how I would like to move forward. Can we have a conversation about it? boom, do it. If this is more about you saying like, you know what, it's time for me to transform and to do something a little bit differently in my emotional relationships, my deep connections, then it's time to get really real with yourself. Listen to your intuition during this transit. It's going to be, I think it's going to be super helpful for you to not get defensive when people might be wanting to have these conversations with you, and also get super defensive when you have these realizations on yourself, not getting down on yourself and feeling ashamed or guilt about how you've been moving out in the world. I would say be mindful about misinterpreting emotions. So that's when that defensiveness comes in and that projection will kick in. So just make sure these conversations are coming from a place of the observer and not you coming from a place of you wanting to get clarity, right? Not starting a doggone argument, because I know a Leo rising can start an argument in a half second. So make sure when you have these conversations, whether you're the instigator of the conversation or somebody else wants to talk to you, make sure one of the rules of engagement is clarity is key. I think that will be really helpful for you all. Let's pull a card for this Mercury and Pisces transit. Anytime I see a transit going through my 8th house, I am just exhausted already. It doesn't even have to hit it, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be exhausting. More shadow work, more inner healing, more transformation, more, tired. The high priestess is like, girl, don't be tired. You know, you are highly intuitive. And so I love that this popped out. I've been getting reversals for everybody else. And as I'm talking, S-H-I-T, the high priestess appears. The high priestess is a Pisces card. It speaks of to knowing before the knowing. It speaks to being highly spiritual, connected to the universe, connected to the crown chakra, and also being grounded at the same time. I love her. She is on my shoulder. The moon sits at her feet, right? So like she knows the shadows. The shadows are not hidden from her. And so with this transiting the 8th house, you know it has to be done. You know it needs to be said. You know it needs to be transformed. You might be reluctant because you're a Leo, and Leos don't like change, fix fire. High priestess comes in and says like, baby, you will be fine. You will be fine, whatever transforms. She's on my shoulder. And maybe this message is more for me than it is for you, but you will be fine. You know it needs to be transformed. You know the conversations that need to be had so you can see clarity, so you can move on, so you can create a deeper, intimate connection with whomever and whoever. I hope this has been helpful for you, Leo Rising. Let me know in the comments. Hello, Virgo and Virgo Rising. How are you? This is your Mercury and Pisces transit video. Virgo Rising. You're ruled by Mercury, so you might feel this transit a little bit more than everyone else. And sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Between the South Node now being in your 1st house or next to your sun, and the North Node being across from you in Pisces, there's just a lot of change and transformation going on. And maybe this transit brings a little bit of what it might be like for the next 18 months for you. The Mercury and Pisces transit is happening in your 7th house where Pisces lives. This is the house of partnerships and relationships. And so during this transit, your ability to deeply empathize with others might be a little more enhanced. You might feel a little more compassionate, sympathetic, and empathetic to the relationships, your one-to-one relationships. This can be a partner, but it could also be like your astrologer, your healer, your therapist. It could be those kinds of partnerships, relationships as well. You may struggle to express them. And I know this is something that you guys have probably been working with for a while, because really this North Node, South Node transit for you is really asking you to stop being so analytical and lean more into your gut, into your intuition, which is not necessarily the most comfortable thing for a Virgo sun, rising, moon, whatever Virgo placement you have. But this is a really good time, a really good transit for you to start dabbling and start balancing out where you need to take leaps of faith. You need to have a little more trust, a little more trust into your intuition and less in your overthinking analytical self. This is a really good time for heartfelt communications in your one-to-one relationships while still maintaining and maybe even setting some boundaries. So communicate them clearly, communicate them from a place of intuition, from a place of knowing, and don't overthink it and not have that conversation. Let's pull a card for you, Virgo Rising. The Tower in reverse. So, you know, the Tower in reverse, first of all, the Tower means the Tower upright. I mean, things are just falling apart very chaotically. Some things are just transforming, changing, and you feel like you really have no control over it. It's just very Uranian energy, right? The Tower, very Scorpio energy, the Tower. In reverse, at least to me, it always means you know exactly what needs to change and transform, and you can mitigate some of the chaos, some of the damage. It also can mean and might mean to you that you are beyond the chaos of the Tower moment. You have had that conversation, you have said the things, you have felt the feels that felt very Tower-like, and now you're on the other side. So now it's like, okay, I can set these boundaries now. We've had this conversation, we had this blowout argument, and now we're gonna put the pieces back together again. It's happened already. I would say for in the first example, if this is something that you know that needs to be said, it is time to have the conversation so you can damage control. You do not blow up, you do not ruin things. That's a horrible thing to say, not ruin things. So you don't feel so shocked and surprised when the chaos starts to ensue. So you can mitigate some of the chaos. Can we ever mitigate all of the chaos? No, we can't. Well, I can't predict the future. I don't know if you can predict the future. All we know is we have control of ourselves, and sometimes things just go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So if that's for you, still have the conversation. It might be a little chaotic, but you will be better for it. If you have had that conversation and it has been quite chaotic and it left you feeling like, oh my God, you are now at a place where you can put the pieces back together again. You can set better boundaries. You can have more deep felt conversations in those one-to-one relationships. So the Tower card is not always it's not always terrible. Sometimes it takes out the things that are blocking us from living a more fulfilling life. So I hope this has been helpful. Virgo, let me know in the comments. All right, Libra and Libra Rising, how are you? How fare thee? I don't know why I said that, honestly, but it felt good to say. I know Libra Rising, you might be feeling some type of way with the Mars still in Cancer, squaring your rising sign or your sun. I know it. I'm a Libra moon. It's driving me bonkers. I'm also a Capricorn sun and Venus, so it's just driving me crazy. But Libra, you also now have across from you Venus and Aries, which is maybe making you a little more chatty, a little more not aggressive in love, but assertive in love. So you have a lot of things going on right now. And now you're going to have Mercury transiting Pisces in the 6th house. You know, the 6th house of your daily routines, health, and work, your co-workers. And so for you, this can be a time where your problem solving skills, like trying to figure out work-life balance, becomes very intuitive. It becomes very creative. You are like, oh, I could do things like this now. I could do something like this. And it starts to work out for you in a way that you didn't necessarily think would work out for you. I love that for you. Because, you know, Libras are playing both sides of the story. You might feel all over the place as well, really trying to figure out what is the best. Does this really feel in alignment? I would say don't get caught up in the scatterbrainness that this might cause, but really incorporating maybe a mindfulness practice, something that is creative, baths, walks, sound meditations, things of that nature, incense, breath work, right? Big air energy kind of things into your daily schedule to help you feel a little more focused and a little more grounded. I think all in all, this can really bring some creative ways to solve the problems that you've been having in your work-life balance arena. Let's pull a card for you. Not necessarily feeling stingy. Four of Pentacles in the reverse. I don't know. Maybe you've been trying to figure out how you can pay for a new spa, a new, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe you've been trying to budget, pay for a new practice that really brings self-care to yourself. So maybe like a new fitness. Why are the words leaving me? Fitness, like a new gym. Hello. A new Pilates class, a new something. You're just like, I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if this is really worth my money. I don't know. What I can tell you is mental health is priceless. So if you can figure out how to financially do some things that bring you some sanity, some self-love, some self-care, some self-whatever you like to call it, this would be the time to do it. It's not the time to get caught up in, I don't think I can afford it. I don't think I have the time to do it. I don't think I can do it. It's about getting grounded, really seeing what would support your mental health, making your daily life a little bit easier, a little bit more conducive to how you want to be living, and then doing that. And really less logically, Pentacles, more intuitively, which I know is very difficult for us to wrap our minds around, especially air energy sometimes. But yeah, so if you can definitely start incorporating some creative rituals, especially air rituals, so lighting incense, doing a little bit of breath work, a little bit of mindfulness, I think that would help you get some clarity on how you should be spending your money on your daily routines and your health. All right. I hope this is helpful, Libra. Let me know in the comments. Alrighty, here we go. I don't know if you guys are getting tired of me saying alrighty, but if you're just listening to your own rising sign, you probably don't, because you don't hear me say it 7 million times. All right, Scorpio and Scorpio risings. This Mercury and Pisces transit is happening in the 5th house. It's happening in a fellow water sign. So not too wild for you. This is a time where you could get very communicative about your creative expressions, about how you're dating, about romance, heartfelt communication. It is the 5th house, the house of creativity, self-expression, romance. It's a good house to have Mercury and Pisces in. You can say all the love things. You can sing all the songs. You can write all the love notes. You can really be mushy, lovey-dovey in this. And maybe it's not towards someone else, but it could be towards yourself. I love it either way. So this is an amazing time to communicate your artistic inspiration. Poetry, dancing, singing, drawing, painting, whatever you want to do, it's a good time to dabble in it and then put it out there if you're thinking about making a side hustle out of it. This Capricorn is always thinking about how she can make more money. So romantic communications may feel deeply emotional and also intuitive, kind of like, excuse me, have we met before? Do I know you? This feels really good. But just make sure you have clarity on your intentions, because it could be quite overwhelming and fleeting. So, excuse me, just be very careful to be clear on your intentions so you don't have any misunderstandings, if that makes sense. But let's pull a card for you. Let's do this one. There's something about, I love that this is a Cups card, not so loving that it is reverse 9 of Cups. There is something about your wishes, dating life, self-expression, creativity that you have been wanting and desiring. And you just kind of are like, when is it going to happen? I want it to happen. It's not happening fast enough. I see everybody else's wishes and dreams and hopes come to life, and I just can't get a move on I'm just having a hard time manifesting, getting a move on my hopes, wishes, and dreams. I hope this card says to you that yes, that might be true. Hopes, wishes, and dreams might be delayed, but maybe we need to think about what we really want in our hopes, wishes, and dreams when it comes to dating, when it comes to our artistic expression, how we write, how we put ourselves out there in a very Pisces-like way. Are we doing it in a way that feels authentic to us? Are we doing it in a way that we expect people are expecting it to be done, right? Are we doing it superficially? I know Scorpios don't do anything superficially, so why would I even suggest that? But it lends to something that maybe we need to, sorry guys, we need to realign our hopes, our expectations, maybe realign what we really want at this point in time. And I think this is more about you listening to your intuition and not listening to what you expect people to want you to be doing, what you expect to be putting out there. Those are two separate things. How you really feel inside intuitively and what you perceive everybody wanting you to be. I think this is saying that wishes, hopes, and dreams do take time. I think it is also saying like sometimes our hopes, wishes, and dreams are not happening or slowly happening because like honestly they're not for us, and I hate to say that, but like it just is kind of a bummer. We have to maybe just realign, and I think Mercury in Pisces can help us realign because it's going to help us dabble into our intuition more than our logic and what other people think. I hope this has been helpful, Scorpio. Let me know in the comments. Alrighty, Sagittarius and Sag risings. This Mercury in Pisces transit is happening in your 4th house. It's squaring any of your Sag placements, and yeah, it's going to square your Sag placements, which might cause some challenges or obstacles when communicating from your intuition or receiving communication from other people. So this is happening in the 4th house of home, family, and emotional foundations, where you end up later in life, the people who live with you in your 4 walls. So there could be conversations with loved ones, and the conversations with loved ones could be a little more intuitive, a little more emotional. You might not see these conversations coming. Maybe you live with some people and they're like, I want to move, or I feel like you've been giving us the cold shoulder, and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I feel like a Sag would say that. So there could be a lot of that coming up, and it's causing you to make some decisions about who you live with, where you want to live, how you want to live, how you want to maintain the familial relationships. I would say this is just a really good time to make sure, like I'm telling every other sign, that you have clarity about the intentions of the conversation, clarity around why people are communicating these things to you or why you're communicating these things to other people. Don't say something that you're going to regret. Just really try to be mindful. That's really the key word for Mercury and Pisces. Be mindful of the things that you're saying, because things could come out very wonky and wishy-washy. If you want to journal about what's going on, I would say do that. I would say this is a time to maybe move your body a little bit. Find a mindfulness practice. If you have a faith-based practice, this might be time to dabble in that as well. Okay, bra straps, come in to steal the show. Sorry. I forgot that we're there. But yeah, so this would be a great time for journaling and reflecting on your emotional well-being. And then when it settles, I wouldn't even say when Mercury moves into Aries, because then we're just going to be wanting to say everything with our chest. So if you need to say something, this is actually the best time to say it. But be prepared to maybe receive some pushback, or maybe there's going to be some misunderstanding, and be prepared to clarify it without getting defensive or projecting what you're feeling onto other people, if that makes sense. Let's pull a card for you. You know what? Let's take this one right here. The Knight of Pentacles. You probably have some ambitions, some goals about who you want to live with, where you want to live, how you envision your family, your home life, your emotional foundations. This talks of strong foundation, stability, goal driven. And so if there are people in your family, excuse me, in your housing situation that are a little bit wonky, a little bit indecisive, you need to have some conversations about what stability and what your home life looks to you. If they don't have clarity, somebody has to have the clarity. If they don't know, somebody has to know. And the Knight of Pentacles comes in knowing exactly what to do. They're patient, they're resilient, they're loyal, they're dependable, they're not flaky. They have an idea, they're going to get that idea done. This is offers of maybe someone comes in as like, you're tired, you ready to move. Somebody comes in, it's like, I'll put that down payment. I'll put the, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll put the first and last on that place for you. Maybe a man comes in, like late 20s to late 30s, comes in and it's like, hey, I can show you how to start saving to move out of this place. Something like that. Somebody very wise coming in, dependable, strong, experienced to help you move in a way that is meaningful to you, especially when it comes to where you live. I think this is very much a housing situation. Hello, Capricorn Rising. Mercury and Pisces going through your third house of communication, learning, social connections, your community, your neighborhood, all of those good things. Mercury rules, hello words, Mercury rules the third house. So it's very comfortable. While it's not comfortable in Pisces, it's comfortable in the third house, and Capricorn and Pisces have a little vibe, harmonious vibe going on. So this could be very, very good for you. I really, really kind of like it for Capricorn and Capricorn risings. You might find yourself wanting to express yourself through written word, through teaching in a very intuitive, healing type of way. I just really love that for you. You might see yourself trying to connect with other healers, other people who are aligned in the type of business, whatever business that you're in, teaching more, just making connections that are a little more sweet, a little more intuitive. And yeah, just being out there and living your best Pisces life in a way that your logic of how you're going to get it done then can get done, and it's done in a very sweet, empathetic, compassionate way, and people are just like wanting more of you. I think if you're a teacher, you teach something, this is a time to really use your words in a way that are powerful, that are healing, that are supportive to other people's healing. So if that's you, then definitely you. If this is also the house of short distance travel. So if you've been thinking about traveling towards water, like a short little trip at a lake, a river, I know it's winter, but there's some places in the world that it's warm, then this would, to even heal yourself, even come back to yourself, this would be, I'm going to take this card that was sliding on out. Then it's a good time to do that. This is your card. Love this for you even more. So just be mindful of being clear in your practical conversations to avoid confusion, which makes sense. But here we are with the Queen of Pentacles. You know, the Queen of Pentacles, she knows what's up. She knows her stuff. She knows how to manage her money. She knows how to budget her money. She knows when to spend money. She knows she is very motherly in a very practical way. She doesn't hoard the money. She could also be a person who, I love the Queen of Pentacles is like, I've made the money. I know how things are done. So I think this for you is about like, you are figuring out how you want to make money in a way that might be very different than you're used to. It might be more Piscean. Is that the word for it? It might be more Piscean and less Capricorn. So it might be making money from doing speaking engagements that are about mindfulness, about healing, about things Pisces like, about your intuition, about other things that people would not necessarily think of when we think of Capricorn. And if that is so for you, I actually really love it. If this is you trying to figure out how to make your book, your novel, your podcast into something greater, then this is maybe hanging out, talking, chatting, getting together with an older, more mature woman, a businesswoman. She's prosperous, she's successful, but she's also down to earth. You know, this is very motherly, and I like this. So if you've been thinking about doing that, going off on your own, and it's a different kind of teaching, learning, I think this is a really good time for you while Mercury is in Pisces, and then linking up with a like-minded woman that might have a little more experience than you do would be really beneficial to you. Please, Capricorn, let me know how this works out for you. Perfect. Alrighty, Aquarius, I know. You've been going through it. It's been a lot with the sun across, with that full moon across from you. That was kind of wild. But here we are in this Mercury Pisces transit. Aquarius Rising, this is happening in your second house, the house of finances. It's your self-worth. It's your material security. Lots of things, important things in the second house. This could be intuitive insights about how to raise some money, how to gain more money. But like it's intuitive, so it has no practicality behind it, right? It's very Piscean, it's very Aquarius, like, I think I can. I saw an article, maybe we could do this, that kind of energy, but it doesn't have any kind of foundation behind it. And so I think, excuse me, the conversation with yourself during this time is, like, are my ideas viable? And that's really what you really want to think about. Are the ideas that you're having about making money in your material security, are they viable? Are they a little practical? They can be. I'm not saying don't listen to your intuition. What I'm saying is we need to balance our intuition with reality and then make decisions from that. So it's definitely a good time to, Aquarius, think of all of your outside the box ideas and explore them and research them a little bit. But ultimately, do not make a decision without having some practical knowledge and some grounded reality in it. I hope that doesn't come off like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that about us. I just want you to make really good decisions for yourselves. If this is about self-worth, I think intuitively it's about you speaking greatness over your life. I think it's about you not feeling guilt, shame, sadness about the ideas that you have that are not necessarily capitalistic or going with society. So don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up about that. That's just the way it is right now. Lean into that, explore those things, but ultimately make a decision that is grounded, based in reality. Here we go. Oh, Knight of Wands in reverse. So maybe you've been feeling not so creative. You don't have any ideas of how to be a little more secure financially or an extra income, or maybe you're even feeling a little ho-hum. I can see after the Aquarius new moon, I can see with the Leo full moon, Pluto in Aquarius, you are really like, what the heck is going on with me, with myself, with my life, with my vibes? And it can be feeling little unnerving. It would say surround yourself with people you trust, people that can light a fire to your creativity, that really want to listen to your ideas and will really help you gauge what is cool and what is just kind of like wow. Because what we don't want is this Knight of Wands in reverse, this lack of creation, this lack of creativity, this lack of spontaneity, this lack of fun, this lack of travel, this lack of that, right? Just very lack. What we want is to explore, which would be like this. This seems like a good idea. This seems like a good idea. Let's try this. Let's try that. We want that energy and not this like, I don't know, I'm not sure, blah, blah, that kind of thing to go on for you. So if all else fails, get with your people, share your ideas, be a little bit vulnerable so they can help you gain that fire that you've always had, that you might have just been dimmed a little bit. Alrighty, all right, Aquarius Rising. Let me know how that works out for you. I'd love to hear it. All right, last but not least, the star of the show, Pisces Rising. Mercury in Pisces transit is happening in your first house of identity, your self-expression, who you are, who people perceive you to be out in this world. So now you're out here being your most mystical, dreamy self, and people are like, oh, we love that. Pisces, what I want to tell you is please lean into that. If you're intuitively feeling like you need to be a little more mystical, a little more dreamy, a little more fairy-like, you know, I'm in Ireland still. It's the last video I'm going to do in Ireland. If you, well, not the last one forever, but the last one for a while. If you're feeling like that is who you want to be seen out in the world, a healer, medicine woman, you know, any of those things, this is the time to communicate that with yourself and communicate that with other people and not really care about what other people are saying about it. Don't let other people talk you out of being your most best Pisces self. When you are more authentically Pisces, more people will be drawn to you, right? My concern for you is just make sure you're communicating clearly and confidently, right? Don't let anybody talk you down from that. Don't become self-conscious about, try not to be self-conscious about the new way you want to vibe in life. Just go through it. Be very confident about that. This is really actually a super sweet, powerful time for you to embrace your authentic voice, whatever that might be, a little ethereal, a little mystical, a little, you know, dream-like. I love this for you. I always wish Pisces would be their most Pisces self all the time. And I know our world is not conducive to Pisces-like characteristics. We live in a very Capricorn, capitalistic, Saturn-based world, and that can't be fun for heavy Pisces dominant people, Jupiter ruled, Neptune ruled people. It has to be very hard to get up and be very systematic, logical, blah, 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 you know, all of that, and not lean into poetry and music and just the vibes, you know? So I hope this Mercury and Pisces transit in your first house gives you the confidence to dabble more into that, becoming more authentically yourself. I was gonna stop and not do a card, but of course, yeah. Here, you have choices. I love that it's the Seven of Cups because Cups is, you know, water, your water. It is maybe being overwhelmed with tons of choices in the first house, how you want to move authentically in this life. Do you want to present yourself as your most Piscean-like self? And how do you do that, right? Without people like looking at you all kind of crazy, right? You have so many ways to do it, so many choices. It's 7 as well. I wish for you to be very confident, especially in your relationships. And maybe you start exploring this Pisces-like dream in your one-to-one relationships with other people you feel very comfortable and vulnerable around. And when you do that, then you start showing up like in public more of this kind of dreamy, intuitive, high priestess-like demeanor. But you do have choices. It's not all or nothing. You can try something, and if that's not a good fit for you, you can try something out, but know that there's options and that you will find your people. Hello, I don't know why that came out so crazy, but you will find your people. All right, if you made it this far, which I completely appreciate it, if you made it this far, that's Mercury and Pisces for all the 12 rising signs. This transit really invites us to embrace our intuition, our creativity, our spiritual downloads, our higher selves, honestly, getting in contact with a practice that is outside of yourself also is really lovely. It also is going to remind us to stay grounded, so in our communication, because sometimes we could be a little loopy when Pisces is involved. I would also say if communication is being wonky, don't dabble in substances to dim that, because Pisces is also the ruler of escapism, so don't do that. Let me know in the comments how Mercury and Pisces is showing up for you. If you enjoyed this video, which I hope you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, which will, I don't know where that is, honestly. So you'll never miss an update. And I will see you next time. If you'd like to work with me, I will put my website and my socials in the description. So